Hey guys, welcome back. It has been ages since I've gotten a chance to talk to you. That's because things have been crazy behind the scenes with the whole move farm thing. I wish I could give you a good farm update, except for the fact that everything that's been happening has either been stressful or boring. So as soon as something fun happens, I'll bring you back into the fold on that. But for now, we have a different project that I have been dying to tackle for years. So I've just taken a shower, I've got on the comfy pants, I got my coffee all ready to go. And we are gonna tackle the ADHD knitting basket of doom. Now you might be thinking, that looks fairly contained, right? It's all in one basket. It's a little overflowing, but it's not like insane, right? This is like the third iteration of this situation. It was not like this like a month or two ago. Let me cue you in on what has happened. So tell me in the comments if you ever experience anything like this. I am absolutely notorious for setting things down and then walking away from them, and then they just become part of the scenery and it never moves. And I kind of sort of know where it is, but then it gets buried and I can't find it. So I end up finding myself with weird piles of things throughout the house that kind of sort of make sense if you live in my head, but it's still not very conducive to a well-organized work environment. So like every place that I have a tendency to work collects items. So like tape measures, stitch markers, random needle tips, bits and bobs of leftover yarn. So I've got a pile like next to my bed and on the dining room table and upstairs in the office and in the car, and it's everywhere. And I can't find anything. The needle and hook situation gets even worse because I have a tendency to, when I finish a project, all of like the leftovers of the project just get left inside of the project bag. And therefore you have to kind of remember, oh, I used this item when I was making this item, and I had been carrying it around in this project bag. Therefore, this tool that I need must still be in this project bag. And you gotta go find the project bag, and then you gotta empty it out. And then you realize that there's all kinds of crap stuck in there, and it's just chaos. It results in problems such as, you know, if you've got a project ready to go, you know you've got the needles, but then you can't find them. You tear your house apart. It's even worse than it was before. And then the project just sits there because you can't find the needle tips, even though you have the yarn and the project ready to go. And then all of a sudden a new project or a new yarn is like, ooh, shiny. It catches your attention and that project doesn't even become a whip. It stays as a wish, right? It's not even whip status yet. Or because you want to get going on it and you're impatient and you don't want to tear apart your house, or you've already torn apart your house and it didn't help, you go out and you buy new. Or you think, oh, I must really not have that size, and you go buy new. And then you end up with a ton of the same thing. And it's a waste, and it's not organized, and it's really hard to work with. And it became even worse when I knew I had to pack to move, because I want access to those things while I'm waiting to be able to fully unpack, but it was all over my house. So what I did, that was iteration number 1, things everywhere. Iteration number 2 was the basket of doom. So I had this basket upstairs in like my guest bedroom. I can't remember for the life of me what was in it. I almost donated it, but I was like, no, it's a great size. What I'm gonna do is empty all the junk that was in it out. And then every time I found something that was related to knitting or crochet and was like a tool, I put it in the basket. I did curate as I went along. I've gone over time. My tastes in like needles have changed. And whereas I used to all use like, you know, a regular straight knitting needle, I very rarely use them anymore. I do have a few like favorite sets. Same thing with like circular needles. I'm very picky now about what cords I like, what tips I like. Do I want metal? Do I want wood? And so as I found ones that were not my favorites, I went ahead and already de-stashed them, decluttered them. I'm not sure what word you would use for needles, but I took them out. They did not make it into the basket, and they were donated or gifted to people who would love them and would use them. And so all of my things that made it into the basket, in theory, are things that I actually like and use. After a while, it got a little chaotic and I just started throwing stuff in here. So I really don't even know what's in here at this point. So that was kind of iteration number 2, where everything was just stuffed in the basket. I didn't worry about organizing. It just had to make it in the basket. And that helped so much with packing because I didn't have to worry about having like a knitting box or like worrying about everything being in one place because I put it in one place. And I didn't have to go around the house and find it all at the same time. I could discover it as I went through things. So anyway, the point is it worked really well as I was packing to just take everything knitting and crochet related and pop it into this basket. Okay. And then I started a new project. I don't remember which new project it was. It might be my Pretty Please scarf that I'm working on now with the Hue Loco Advent. It had to do with Advent knitting anyway. So it was one of my projects. I needed the needle tips. And I knew for a fact I had the needle tip size. I knew for a fact. I knew I had them. They existed. I know I've bought that size before because I use it all the time. And of course, it wasn't in any of like my usual project bags or active items. So I knew it had to be in this basket. But everything was just dumped in here. And so what I did on the first round is I dumped everything out, and then I have these, I don't think I can even like get to them, but I have these little pouches that I got from 5 to 6 Handmade, which I don't think they're making stuff anymore. I'm really sad about that. Because I really like the way the bags are made, and I haven't found anyone else who's doing the exact same thing. So if you feel inclined, you can go online and see if they still have anything up on their website. But I don't think they do. I haven't looked in a while. But so I have these bags, and I've got several of them, and they are geared toward different tools. So I ended up buying one for crochet hooks, one for interchangeable needle tips, and one for double pointed needles. And they have, ignore the mess inside, they have these great like little pockets that are numbered with the sizes. And then there's like a little zippy on the side, and then there's extra room in the middle for whatever else you want to keep in there. You can even put your project in there if you wanted to. And so I went through and I dumped everything out, and I kind of organized everything by, these must be interchangeable needles, I have all of those. And then I have one with crochet hooks, one with double pointed needles. And then I have one, not one of these bags, but different bags that I stuffed everything like stitch markery in there. And so it's kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit organized at this point, but not really. Maybe more contained at this point. But what I need to do is actually dump everything out, go through it, organize it. Anything that's like, I don't need anymore, that missed the first purge, I want to go ahead and get rid of that, and just get everything organized and really know what's in this basket, because it's driving me nuts to not be able to have my tools at my fingertips. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to just dump out this basket, get it all organized, and then put it all away. I'm going to be so excited when it's finally organized. Let's get to it. So welcome to my chaos. There was a little bit more in the basket than what it looked like. It's a lot of stuff. I cannot wait to get it all organized. So I did have a yarn caddy. It's not my favorite style, but I think I'll hang on to it. It's well made, just not really, I don't know, it just doesn't hang on my wrist the way that I like it to. But I'll hang on to it until I find one that I like more. And then I have one of the Coco Knits magnetic boards. Usually lives in its little pouch here. I found some random bits of yarn that I need to get sorted out, a safety eye tool, Dragon Horde yarn card, and a bookmark, a latch hook, and an orifice hook for my wheel, and a diz for my for drawing out fiber. I love this. It was handmade. Got it off of Etsy. Don't know the name of the store, but that's the artist right there. What else we got? We have circular needles that are fixed. They're not interchangeable tips. I have a yarn sock that you can put around your like cakes of yarn to help keep it neat and tidy. I have yarn bobbins. How cute are those? Little sheep. Found some pins. Look how cute is that? Oh, I just love those. Life is one big whip. And I somehow ended up with 2 of those pins. No idea where those came from. Little worried about my interchangeable needle tips because I know I have another bag of the ChowGoo. These are like the mini tips and it's yellow. And I know I have it, but it's not in the basket. So if it's not in the basket, where it be? Because I don't know. But those are all my interchangeable tips. And then I have 2 of these little county boards. This is just one, like a cheap one I got off Amazon. That goes up to 100. And then I found this one at, Dances with Wool from Fox and Pine. It's a little bit stiffer, so it doesn't like accidentally poke through the way the Amazon one does. And it's smaller. So I like that as well. So I have both of those. Good for different things. My beautiful Snips collection. Oop, extra stitch marker there. My favorite pair are these guys. I love these. And then I made the mistake, I also love these too, made the mistake of having to snip some zip ties at one point. Yeah, so they don't quite work the way they used to, but they're so pretty, I don't want to get rid of them. Oh, look at that. Anyway, we have some not stitch holders. They go on your needles, so like you stick your needles through the holes and it keeps it from your stitches from sliding off the end. I can't think of what they're called, but I have 2 different sizes for that. I found a whole bunch of safety pins. I use them for a lot of different things. The most useful is if I can't find the little T tool for getting the interchangeable tips on and off cords, I just use safety pins. I have one of these. They can be used as like, oh my gosh, it says it on the back. So stitch holder, stitch marker, seam baster, drop stitch fixer, all kinds of different things. So I got that to try instead of cable needles because, I don't know, I never use cable needles for whatever reason, but I thought that might be nifty. I have 3 different drop stitch picker-uppers, a whole selection of various types of rulers, some random beads. We have a quick gauge checker, as well as a few different kinds of needle gauge. What are those called? I can't even think. You figure out the size of your needles. We have a couple containers of barber cords. I found a lotion bar. I love these. I'm using one that is clove scented right now. I think that this is their lemongrass. And then I have different types of like wool washes. This was a soap that I got for wet felting. Came across a couple of candles. What else do I have in here? A collection of stickers. A fun bag collection. Check these out. So I have everything from like little organza bags. A lot of these came from when I was getting like the Fiber of the Month Club. I'd always had one of these with the notions in it. Little velvet pouch. This is my favorite kind of take it with me container for notions. So it's from Della Q. Let me see if I can open it. There we go. So it zips around, but the inside is magnetic. Please ignore the fact that it's all covered in fuzz. That just happens over time with me. Fuzz everywhere. It has a yarn cutter inside and it's magnetic. And so I love the fact that like when you open it, all your stuff doesn't fall out. Like all your stitch markers and stuff. And I can fit scissors and all kinds of good stuff in there. So that's one of my go-to containers. This is a fun like little tackle box sort of deal. I got it, I didn't buy it. It came in like a kit, like a Fiber of the Month Club sort of thing, or an advent calendar. I can't remember exactly, but I've never actually used it. It is kind of cute. And then I have all kinds of bigger bags. This one is my favorite. This one used to be my crochet hook bag, but we're gonna sort that out with the 5 to 6 handmade ones. All of these are 5 to 6 handmade. So this one was the first one I got actually, I think. And I think it's supposed to be for either your cords or like interchange or the circular needles. But you could really put anything you wanted to in there, and it comes with, it's hard to see, but there's labels that you can pull off and label the different bags. You can put really whatever you want. Stitch markers. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I had that. And then this bag looks like it's for crochet hooks. It has letters, so I'm thinking crochet hook bag. And then this one is the interchangeable tip bag. And I like the fact that it has 2 pockets stacked. So that way if you have longer and shorter tips, they still fit in. And then this one was one of their newer designs. This one was just a regular pouch, and it came with these like little baggies, and they were specifically for cords. And again, it comes with labels that you can label the sizes. And then it's my last one, which is for double pointed needles. Again, you can see it has 2 different heights of the pouches inside for all of your needles, and it's a lot taller than the other bags, so it gives plenty of room. Oh no, I lied. I have one more from them. Where did it go? Just a little notions pouch. So, yeah. And then I think this is actually just a pencil pouch, but I've always used it for kind of knitting, crochet, crafting sorts of things. And then I have just these other cute little bags that I've collected. This is not the extent of my bag collection. These were just the ones that accidentally somehow ended up in my basket. And I do have the interchangeable needle set. I've cleaned everything out of it. I don't know if I'll need this or not, since I have my other bag that my tips are going into, but we'll hang on to it for now, just in case we have tons and tons of extra. I have some natural dyes, a variety of buttons, needle felting, or needles for needle felting, a boatload of stitch markers and stitch marker tins, some things that aren't necessarily like knitting and crochet tools. I have a shawl cuff. This is the strap to my drop spindle bag, highlighter tape, a notebook, had some note cards and envelopes, and then kind of randomly, wool dish sponges. So, don't know why those were in there. And I have 2 decks of doodle cards. This pile is more for market makes. It's like keychain hooks, magnets, and then inside there are like pom-pom buttons and like little cute leather tags and whatnot. This one shocked me. I have no, like how many double pointed needles does a person need? Apparently about 100. And then these are all of my cords. This one is a Tunisian crochet hook cord. I still kind of put it with the cords. And then I have a bunch of these little, like the little T tighteners. I just have 3 sets of straight needles. They're ones that I just think are really pretty and I really like them. So we're gonna hang on to them for now. A boatload of crochet hooks. You can kind of see that I've had different favorite ones over the years. Let me get down here. So my current ones that I'm really loving are these ones from Furls. They're heavy, but I kind of like that extra weight to them. And because they have different kinds, it's the metal ones that I really like. Because they are metal, you can get them in slightly smaller sizes, although they don't go down real small. I do have a bunch of O-Fire hooks as well. I also like these. These are the, I guess like resin or acrylic or whatever ones. I've got a few more here in this pouch. They are a little bit more delicate, but I've never actually broken any of them, so they've been serving me really well. These ones were my old favorites. These are the red tulip hooks. And I really like the shape of those. And then because I was missing some sizes, I had gotten a couple sets of these guys. Oh my gosh, these are the Prim. Is that what they're called? I think they're called Prim or something. They're not my favorite, but they work. So I'm not sure. I have to go through and see like what sizes I have and then get rid of the duplicates that are not my favorite. Is that everything? I think that was everything. All right, so let's go ahead and start organizing. I think we're right here, so why don't we go ahead and start with the crochet hooks. My approach here ended up being pretty simple. I just picked up a hook and put it in the right size pocket. And then if I had a duplicate, whichever was my favorite of the two hooks, that's the one that I put in the pocket, and then I took the other one out. The exception is my 3.75 because neither of these are like my favorite style of hook, and they both just fit in the pocket, so I stuck them both in for now. If I ever find one of my like favorite options, I'll replace them, or I'll try out both of these and then just decide which one I like better. Apparently the only size I'm missing is a 7mm, although I'm pretty sure I had to get a 7mm needle or a hook because I needed it for something. So I feel like this one might be floating around somewhere. But otherwise, I have a pretty complete collection down to 2.25. So what I have left over. These guys are duplicates, and they are going to get decluttered. I just don't like the shape of the handles or the hooks. They're just not my favorite, so I have a full set of favorites. So these are going to go. These guys are going to be kept. I might just pop them down into the bottom of the container, or, ooh, nope, I've got a better idea. Hang on. I just showed you that I had this little notions bag, and that is going to be the perfect size for anything that doesn't fit in the actual pockets in the bag. So these guys are all small, 2.2 millimeters. One of them is like 1 point something. I don't know if you can see that. I can't even read that. 1.65 millimeters. So these guys are all tiny, tiny. So those will fit in there. And then I think I'm also going to declutter these guys. They're also duplicates, but they're not, again, the really skinny ones are not my favorite either. So we'll add that to the declutter pile. And then these guys are also duplicates. These are all those prim hooks. And then, I don't know, is that a clover one? Maybe right there. This one I do use on occasion if I can't find my other one. So I feel like I'll probably keep all of these. They'll fit in the pouch. And then these guys are all duplicates as well, but those are my favorite tulip hooks from before I discovered the O-Fire and the Furls hooks. So those will fit in there as well as backups. And then I do have my O-Fire pouch, which I love for putting hooks in, especially the resin or acrylic or whatever they are, because they're a little more breakable. And so it's really convenient to bring with me in a crochet bag. This one was an extra, or a duplicate, and so I popped it back in the pouch. And I don't know if that'll fit in there as well, but if not, I'll just put that in the bottom of the bag. All right, so there we are, all neat and tidy and ready to go. And then in the pouch on the outside, I have my Tunisian crochet hook along with its cord. If I get more Tunisian crochet hooks, I might come up with a different organizational system, and this might go with all of the like interchangeable needle cords. But for right now, because there's just one, it fits in there super easily. All right, so that is crochet hooks done and done. All right, so this one was a little more stressful. We had to put Bridgerton on in the background. I don't even know if Bridgerton's going to be strong enough for tackling the double pointed needles, but we'll concentrate on these guys first. All right, so most of them fit in quite nicely. I did have two sets of the size 5 that were both long. I didn't come across any of the shorter, the 4-inch tips instead of the 5-inch tips. So I just put both of the 5-inch tips in here for now, and then I can change them out if I come across the smaller size. Had some duplicates, not quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. I have these two, which don't fit in this extra pouch, and then just one of these guys. No idea where the matching one is. It's got to be around somewhere. So I'm not quite sure what to do about those guys yet. I did put the extras, I had extras 3, 4, 6, and 7 that I put in here, but that seems like a waste. Well, actually I could put these guys over on that side. Maybe I will do that. I was gonna say maybe I'll just stick everything that was extra just in the pouch, because that would take up less room than this giant thing. Although that does still fit. I wonder if I have, and then I also had like an extra of the US 6. I wonder if I have another small bag. Let me go look. All right, problem solved. So first of all, that needle that only had one, apparently I was sitting on it. So I found it and we have a full set again. So I went back through all the like packages I had just emptied out and grabbed the ones that matched the extras. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put them in this pouch, and then this pouch will fit inside of this one. And then I'm gonna leave my Chow Goose, my mini ones, in this container. And again, it's driving me nuts. I have not come across the other package. I know I have the other set of these. I just have no idea where they are. Ugh. And just a final look at what that looks like in the bag. Woohoo! Another one done. I think we're just gonna have to suck it up and jump into the double pointed needles next. All right, so that was also very stressful, but not as bad as it could have been. So I decided that I wasn't going to bother to separate everything into sets, and I kind of did the strategy that I used when I was sorting my crochet hooks, that I basically just picked up a needle, looked at the size, and stuck it in, and then I kind of started sorting by size. I have an excessive number of double pointed needles. Oh my gosh. I didn't even bother kind of separating out some of these. That's more than one set, but they all fit in the little pouch, so I left it as is. I could not fit this. This is another set of US 11s, which is that pouch right there. So I figured I would set these to the side. And then these are a set of, what size are you? Oh, another set of 11s. And so again, couldn't fit, so I just put these over to the side. And then I had an excessively large number of size 2, obviously my sock knitting needles. So I've set these guys to the side for now. I still have 2 sets stuck in here somewhere. I also had some metal needles, but I don't really like these, so I think these are gonna get decluttered. And then these I got, I think they're from a fiber festival, and I think the people make their own needles, but I don't really care for them because you see how like flat the tips are? I find them really hard to knit with, so these are gonna be decluttered as well. I was kind of debating what to do with these extras that don't fit in the pouch. Oh, size 17 are down in the bottom. The pouches only go up to size 13, but I fit my 15s over here, and so 17s went in the bottom. I think I'm gonna put these guys just here in the outside zippered pouch for now, and I can always change my mind later, but at least they're contained and sorted. Cords were next. I had enough baggies where I could sort everything both by length, and then if they were the large cord or the small cord. And I still have 2 baggies left over. I know I still have a bunch of cords that are like in whips, so I didn't label anything just in case I don't have enough baggies to do both by size and by length. But right now they're fine. We'll determine later if we need more. And then I put all of the little T fastener things in one bag, and then I had a cord end, so I popped that in there too, and that'll all fit right on in here. And guess what? That little bag that has all of the cords in it fits right in here in the interchangeable tip bag. Nice. All right, so stitch markers are deciding to be a little trickier, but I am not giving up yet. I have a variety of storage options over here. I've got a little box. How cute is this? This was just like a shipping container, but I had kept the stitch markers inside. That's super cute. I have a plain tin. I have 2 firefly note tins that are the same but in 2 different sizes, a little magpie fibers tin, dances with wool tin. This one is another firefly notes, but this has all of my Advent stitch markers from this year, and so they all fit inside. And I think I'm gonna leave them in here for right now. So those are the Advent ones. That one's already packed. And then I've got this little Emma Ball tin. How cute are the little sheep and alpaca? And then I have some of the big like quilt pins and this little bracelet thingamabobber. And so I'm hoping those guys will be enough in a couple of like little plastic bags. I'm hoping that'll be enough to sort everything and store it away neatly. I do also have, how cute is this little container? I think this was part of the Magpie Fibers Advent calendar a few years ago. I've always loved this. Obviously I can't store anything like permanently in there because it would all fall out, but it's definitely one of my little stitch marker cups for when I'm kind of like, I don't know, I guess working on things or having things sitting out on the table. All right, categories of stitch markers. So I have a bunch of different like kind of ring sort of stitch markers. I thought I had more of these cat ones. Maybe I don't. Maybe I was thinking these infinity markers were the cat ones. I don't know. And then I have a bunch of just plain like light bulb markers. Then I have a bunch of light bulb markers, but I have like charms on them. Like I love the dinosaur one. How cute is this? Now you guys know I have a slight beef with people who are like free stitch marker and then you get a charm on a light bulb marker, because I feel like that's, I don't want to say cheap, but I feel like it's cheaping out, to be honest. Now, if it's like truly a free one, like I love Center of the Yarniverse, you get with a purchase a free stitch marker and they change out the charm every month. And they're literally the light bulb marker with a charm on it. That one doesn't bother me because they're like truly a free stitch marker. Like I know this is one that I got from there, the little hand. How cute is that? But it's more like when there's, I guess it's like when they advertise something and they're like, it comes with a stitch marker as one of the perks, and then it's just a charm and a light bulb marker. I absolutely hate that. But anyway, sorry, that was my little rant. I haven't decided what I want to do with these. I might go through and like pare them down a little bit, but I really do like a lot of these charms. So maybe I need to keep the charms and separate them from the light bulb markers, and then eventually go back and put them like on a real stitch marker clasp. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. For right now, they're in a pile. And then I have one of these row counter markers from Twice Sheared Sheep. I have mixed feelings about it, but we're gonna hang on to it. These are all my like really cute stitch markers, like my little polymer ones. I love, oh my gosh. How cute is this little snail? And these little coos. How cute. Oh my gosh. So those are my nice ones. And then I have these that are more like charms, but they actually are on some sort of clip or clasp. I found those in one of the tins. I don't really know how to clasp those. They're little clips, and I feel like they would be useful, but they're not a stitch marker. I don't know. They're sitting there for right now until I figure it out. This is going to be decluttered. I think I'm going to pull, it's a stitch marker necklace that I got off of the last Magpie Fibers Advent kit that I got, calendar that I got. And it's, I don't know if I just said this or not, but it's a stitch marker like necklace. Not a huge fan of it. I think I'm going to pull off these guys as stitch markers and then get rid of the chain. And then I have all of these cute Emma Ball stitch markers. Some of them are like stitch markers, and then I have somewhere on here a set of progress keepers. I love the sheep. How cute are these little guys? Anyway, and then my Cocoa knits, which I also love. I ended up somehow with two, oh my gosh, I can't even hold them. The 2 boxes of the split rings. I say somehow, but in reality it's because I couldn't find the one box and I was running short. And so I bought a second box and then found the other one in my moving organization. And then I also have the flight of stitch markers from them. And I am missing one of the tubes, which I'm hoping I will find. But on the plus side, the tube that I'm missing is the one holding these guys. So I'm not running short. But I think I'll leave these guys in their containers. I might take the tubes out of this box because it's so big. Haven't decided yet. But yeah, that is the stitch marker situation. So not perfect, but at least kind of sort of contained. So I've left the advent calendar ones in here. My plain tin got all of my Emma Ball stitch markers, plus the extra pin, because that fit in there. The Emma Ball container got the ones that have like a special clip on the top, but the stitch marker itself was not super fancy. The super fancy ones went inside of my Firefly Notes tin. I did also put them on one of the big safety pin, quilt pin things. The smaller Firefly Note tin got all of my like fancier, like, I don't know, like circle sorts of stitch markers. And then my Magpie Fiber one got all of the smaller circles. This one, which is the Dances with Wool tin, got some like miscellaneous items, and I did leave a few charms on the light bulb markers just in case, but the rest of them I broke down into light bulb markers and the charms, and I did declutter the ones that weren't my favorite. And then I've pulled that out of the larger flight container, and then we have the two split ring containers as well. And so I think what I'm going to do is store everything in this drawstring bag from the Fiber Company. I was going to do that little pencil pouch that you saw that said something about like, I can't remember, had the compass on it and had a saying about adventure. I can't remember what it is now. I love that, but they would not fit. It was too much. So we're gonna go ahead and store it in this bag instead. The last catch-all piles were the trickiest, but I think I have it sorted the way that I like it. So I put my eye snapper tool away. I've got my wrist yarn caddy away. The Cocoa Knits magnetic board is away. So those are all self-contained. These two guys I'm just leaving by themselves. And then these little pouches, this is one I put a bunch of tools in. So it's like the latch hook, my orifice hook, the little yarn bobbins, so miscellaneous little tools. This has all of the market stuff in it. So all of the keychain doodads and the like hat tags and all of that. This has those few bits of yarn inside. I'm still working on trying to figure out how I want to organize all of my extra leftovers. A bunch of those are all packed away. So I'm just gonna leave those in here for now. It's not permanent, it's just to keep them contained. Then I put my pins in a bag. I took them all off the packaging, so it took up less room. I've got all of my scissors and snips in this bag. This is all of my buttons, and then I found a shawl pin in one of the tins, so I popped that in there as well. Barber cords can stay separate. Whoa, just dumped the tools out. That's not what I was trying to pick up. I'm gonna leave these guys separate as well, just because I don't really have a container for knitting needles. I put all of my cute little stickers in one bag. This is all of my soaps. This is that package of dye stuffs. This contains all of my rulers. I've got these guys separate as well for now. Kind of ran out of bags the right size. My lotion bar is not going to be decluttered, but it's going to be taken out of this. It's going to go into my toiletry container. And then I used this bag to put in my needles for needle felting, my extra stitch picker-uppers, darning needles, I forgot those called for a second, cable needles, and just threw my safety pins in there. And so that fits really nicely. And then I have this like miscellaneous pile of stuff. The beads and the candles aren't really knitting, so those will eventually go away. Same thing with like my bag strap and my shawl cuff, and then notebook and scrubbies and doodle decks. Those will just stay separate in the basket. And then I've got a pile of things that I'm decluttering. I decided, since I've got all of my tips and cords organized, that I don't need to hang on to my fixed circulars, got rid of some note cards, the highlighter tape. I only need so many of these like needle gauges, and these were extra little pouches that we're just gonna go ahead and declutter. So I don't think that my basket looks much less full than what it did earlier, despite the fact that I got rid of a ton of stuff, including packaging. But I feel like it's much calmer. It's gonna be much easier to find exactly what I'm looking for. And I like the fact that I've gone through, everything is categorized, and it's the point that I know, A, what is in there, what I actually have, and B, I know that it's all stuff that I actually want to use. And then I now have this nice little tote bag of tote bags, so I have extra project bags for whatever I need. Yay, I feel so much better now that this is finished. I am absolutely exhausted. You wouldn't think that organizing a basket full of stuff would be that taxing, but I think the amount of like mental energy that it took to organize and make decisions is crazy. And I probably also shouldn't tell you that that entire task from when I started my first video until like just now when I put my camera up to film this last little bit took 4 hours and 1 minute. No wonder I'm so tired. And I feel like I was pretty focused, right? I drank like half of my coffee, and I did have my computer in the back with Bridgerton going on, but I didn't stop and watch. Like I actually like worked the entire time. 4 hours to get that organized. On the one hand, it's like, wow, that was a huge chunk of time. But at the same time, I feel like it was long overdue, and it's gonna save me so much time and money in the future now that I can actually find what I need when I need it. Now, this is always going to be kind of a work in progress. There's a lot of like bits and bobs in that basket that once I actually get my final location, that I'll be able to unpack it, and then maybe not everything will actually live in that basket. We'll see what happens. Haven't decided yet. No need to make a decision right now. We can wait and see how the organization flows in the new studio space once I eventually get it. But I also know that because I have so many whips and lots of boxes of kind of crafty stuff that got packed up in my house, that I'm sure that I'm going to continue to find cords and needles and crochet hooks and whatever. But now they all have a home. They all have a place to go. And it'll be super easy to put it away because there's a designated place for it. So I feel really, really good about that. So let me know in the comments, what organizational tasks are you dreading? Or what organizational challenges do you have with your own knitting stuff? I am now going to sit back, relax, enjoy, maybe work on my Advent knitting project. This is the Pretty Please scarf from Hedgehog Fibers. It's a free pattern on their website. It's also linked on Ravelry. And I'm using the Hue Loco Starlight Fade Advent from 2025. And that's how far I've gotten so far. And I love the way it looks. Ugh. I cannot wait to get this finished. All right, we will check in next time and see what projects need to get done before we hit March. Have a good night, guys.